Upasana Ray, and I'm a virologist currently running my research laboratory at CSIR Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, Kolkata. I'll just introduce myself a bit to you first. I am in Kolkata right now. However, I'm by birth I'm from Kolkata, but I'm brought up in Delhi. Yes, I'm brought up in Delhi, and hence I did my schooling from there, from Lady Irwin School, followed by my graduation and post-graduation in zoology from University of Delhi for my PhD at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and I spent a good number of years, almost 6 years there. My PhD took 5 years, another 1 year was there finishing up everything, thesis. My PhD was from a department of microbiology and cell biology in the field of molecular virology. I defended my thesis in 2011 and I got my degree in 2012. Then I moved to United States of America to continue with my research training as a postdoctoral fellow at National Cancer Institute, NIH, Bethesda, United States. It was a great experience for me. And there in NIH, because I had very good mentors, Dr. Buck, Christopher B. Buck, and the lab chief, Dr. John Schiller, who helped me a lot, was a great support for me. I learned a lot. And there I stepped into the field of vaccine engineering. So I was a virologist already, as my training during my PhD was in virology. However, I stepped into another arena of virology altogether in United States. I started working on vaccine engineering there based upon certain specific techniques. I could publish well, and my work actually got translated for the first time. So from laboratory to industry. It got translated into a US patent, was licensed off to a company for further development. I worked on a neurodegenerative brain disease there called as PML, progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy, and I developed a proof of concept vaccine candidate against the virus that causes the disease. So I won't go into much details, technical details in that. Then I returned India, and then I spent a very short time working first at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, with Professor Raghavan Varadarajan, and then as a Ramanujan fellow faculty at Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, at the Department of Medical Science and Technology. Then I was selected for a permanent post at where I'm working right now, CSIR IICB Kolkata, as a senior scientist. And I joined here in February 2018. And I'm continuing even now. So currently, as I already told you, I have my independent research laboratory and I am mentoring PhD scholars as well. So now I'll just move into a little bit of my personal journey, how everything was, not at professional level, but at personal level. So I'm brought up in Delhi, as I already told you, and I lived for 6 years in Bangalore. I covered that as well. So part of me, as I am today, was shaped up while I was in the United States, where I used to go for many backcountry backpacking trips to the mountains all over the United States almost. So people there back in the US used to tell me, you roam around much more than we do. You have seen much more places. Starting from Appalachian Mountains in Maryland, Virginia, North and South Carolina, New York, Wyoming, Seattle, Arizona, etc. So I covered a lot of places in the United States, but most of them were specific to the wilderness and mountains. So a lot of mountain ranges were covered, and I completed few of the toughest trails, which and self-supported ones. I was fortunate enough, though, to get in touch with like-minded people in US who taught me how to behave in wilderness. So the wilderness rules, how to pack your bag, how to use the right clothing in different seasons, in negative temperatures, how to train, how to eat, how to use tents. or pitch your tents, even if there are inches of snow there, use crampons and microspikes, how to use ropes, and how to survive in that shell. So this entire thing, other than my profession, it shaped me a lot. It changed me completely as a person. I then returned to India and then started trekking on Himalayas solo here as well, or with random groups. So here I could complete few of the toughest routes, like Kalindi Khal, climbed Chokpangri, the highest peak of Ladakh region. Then I did Bara Bhangal and several like that. Uh, then followed by that, I was not a teenager or in 20s that time. I was in my 30s, mid 30s. But I took the courage of, I was in love with mountains. So I formally got trained and completed my basic mountaineering course degree from National Institute of Mountaineering and Allied Sports, Arunachal Pradesh in 2019, while I was running my laboratory as well. So I was the senior most woman in the group, but I got an A degree, so A grade. So I qualified for advanced. So then the pandemic started, and we all know we all got stuck somewhere. So anyway, I'm also a long distance runner, and this started. I'm spending more time on this because everything, especially what I do, other than my laboratory, my science is what shaped me as an individual. So it has a full impact on me as a person. So I am also a long distance runner, and this started more as a requirement to stay fit. As a mountaineer or as a trekker, I did not really want to spend a lot of money being a government in a government job and middle class family. I didn't want to spend a lot of money in gyms and exotic things. Neither I had time to do so because I was running a laboratory and I had to leave home early, 7:30 in the morning. So I started running very early morning or late evening before going to office or while commuting back to office, back to home from office. So my office is 35 kilometers from my home. So you can imagine I had the option of running for 35 kilometers. In fact, 35 cross two, which I never did, but 35, yes, I did several times as a practice. So I was pretty amazed when I could successfully finish a 100-kilometer race in Rajasthan, where I ran for almost 17 hours, and that was in 2019. I wish I could continue my outdoor activities in future as well, but this is one of the major milestones in my personal life that also gave me a lot of confidence. It helped me in building up confidence in me. So I was a runners up there in that race as well. So I was that was even more comforting to me. So my personal life milestone, one of the milestones is also my marriage. So I settled pretty late, unlike many others, due to many reasons. My career, and I wanted to settle down. I have a lot of hobbies, so the nutshell is, I settled very late, but I don't regret it. I got married in February 2020, and now I have a 8-month-old son, and he also changed me a lot as a mother, so as an individual. So my life has been shaped in various ways by my parents, of course, and then now by my husband as well. My son, I should not forget to say that, who is a toddler right now, but yeah, they all changed me as an individual. Recently, I became a mother, and I must say that um, that little one is growing now every day and is changing me every day. My mother is the person whom I saw first in my life, and thus she shaped me from day one of my life. Managing a family, we all know, especially women, how difficult it is. She is a homemaker. So, managing a family is the toughest job that exists. A family that consists of elderly people, like in laws, then husband and two kids, me and my sibling, my brother. And she is a person who taught me more than what any book, any person, or any organization could have taught me. I have seen her as a hardworking, caregiving, soft-hearted, social, and a very, very wise person who leads the family's well-being by acting as the spine of for the entire family. Although my it was my father who used to earn, and in India we say a male member is the spine of the family, but it's not like that. Both of them are. uh, so I learned to be diplomatic yet firm on what needs to be executed for the benefit of all. And this is a leadership and managerial skill we all know that I learned from my mother. Um, so that's why she is my role model, the first role model. I might not, I have got mentored by teachers, guides, like at PhD, during my PhD and higher studies at US and all. Um, so, but what makes me a good leader, if I talk myself as a leader, is not that I followed my guides and they made me this way. So that's not it. It was my father whom I followed. Um, my mother although she is my first role model, my father, who is a retired scientist himself, and I don't need really to explain why he's my role model when it comes to career. So he comes even before my teachers. So that's the reason. He's a very dedicated and meticulous person when it comes to work, and he is the one who always went with me to all examination centers or interview centers, even during my when I was going for my job interview. Uh, so he always accompanied me without any fail. So there was a lot of support. I learned to express my views without thinking of acceptance by others from him, my father. And that is very important when you are in sciences. You should not shy off. One thing that I forgot to tell about my mother is that, my mother rejected a marriage proposal for me despite from being a conservative family, as she wanted me to go through higher education, that is my PhD. I have also heard her saying that being financially independent is very important for every woman. So, you know, that if, when you tell these things right at the childhood, you help your girl grow with these points in her head, and that's how you shape her up. So that's what she did for me. And she used to close the door of the room where I used to study so that I don't get disturbed by outside noises, which is great. We didn't have a very big house. So she always basically taught me the importance of education, making wise choices, and live life even in most uncertain conditions. And now the most recent role models or influences in that way, my husband, who is a doctor and a person better than me. That's why we say better half. I learned a lot from him, how to live a sustainable life. He is also a nature person, how to stay calm. I am not a very calm person, so I'm working on it, and I think it's very important to be calm. How to admire nature and natural resources, how to care. He's a very caring and helping human being, and that is very inspiring about him. I admire his knowledge, and I learn a lot from him. I think uh, you know, we all know that there are a lot of failures and challenges we talk about, which also shape you up as you grow from your childhood and as you become established as a different person, a successful person in your life. So I um, could not become a doctor. I wanted to become a doctor, but I could not become because I didn't get a chance. I couldn't clear the exams, and that is definitely a failure for me. I still think that I could have, and if I were, then I would have chosen that profession than what I'm doing now. Although I love what I'm doing now. So life is full of failures in general, as each failure leads you to a complete new goal, and success eventually comes if you are working hard. So nothing in particular I would like to mention other than this. But then there are challenges. The main challenge is family and work life balance. I'm telling this or mentioning this because I am a woman, and it's particularly important when you are a working woman. So being a woman in science comes with hurdles. We all know, all women in science, they are very well versed of what are the challenges they come across. I face the same. When you are ambitious, the challenges are even more because you feel them, right? So I think I am doing what I can. I'm serving my country and people already, and I'm training my scholars, teaching, and at least trying to become a role model myself if I can. I will keep it very simple. To me, success means satisfaction, first of all. Okay, so whatever I do, end of the day, I should be happy. Even though I don't achieve what I planned originally, I should be happy with what I achieved. I should end up with a situation that leads to happiness. Okay, so it should be a balance between what I planned and what I am doing, and I should not have regret. I'm a virologist, and currently we work on host pathogen interactions. So when a virus invades host or infects you and me, how the virus changes our system, that's what I study. And along with that, I try to design vaccines against these viruses. So I do a little bit of vaccine engineering. Yeah, so that's the in general. But specifically, I my laboratory works on dengue infection, and more recently, when WHO declared SARS-CoV-2 as outbreak as a pandemic in March 2020, we started working on COVID-19 as well. So we are working on mutations of COVID-19, how this virus infects us, the mechanism of infection, and we are trying to design therapeutics against the virus. Yeah, so I have PhD scholars, 4 PhD scholars right now with me. 3 are from India and 1 is from Nigeria. It's RAS fellow, great students. Yeah, they are very supportive, and that's basically my laboratory. I have set up my laboratory in 2018. I joined CSIR ISCB not very long back, so it's only 4 years, 4.5 years. It was a little difficult initially for me to set up my laboratory because the administrative process is slow in our system. It takes time, but I had projects and I was very ambitious. So I wanted to set up my laboratory very fast, which I couldn't. But it was okay. It was me who wanted to do it fast, but it doesn't happen that way. Eventually, I learned. So there was some struggle establishing the laboratory. Um, but ultimately, I did that. And the other hurdles that I face are mostly, as I already told you, being a woman in science, at administrative levels, at hierarchies, you face a lot of issues. So those are the similar kind of issues that I face. So I am one of those few women faculties in my entire organization, my IICB Kolkata. There are very few. Most of them are male colleagues. So there's a lot of competition. You have to prove yourself. You have to handle the family. Along with that, you have to be competitive and be productive, and also advertise yourself enough so that people know you. And so those kind of hurdles I have faced, and I have been, not only me, all women in science or working women face, and I'm facing the same, but I'm trying to overcome those. Social impact. I would say that I am already, working at a government organization as a scientist. So I think I'm serving the country as a scientist already, and we use taxpayers' money. So we do have this thing in mind that we have to serve. So I train scholars and teaching. I do a little bit of teaching, so I do that. And at least, as I told, that I am trying to become a role model myself to my students and to the younger generations who want to come to the same to the academia or become a scientist or follow the same path. Apart from that, I have been doing a lot of outreach activities. you know I'm an alumnus of International Young Academy of Science. The short form is INYAS. I don't know if you have heard of. This is the only existing young scientist academy in India. So there all other scientific academies are consisting of senior level people, but this is Young Scientist Academy, and I am an alumnus. I became alumnus this year. I was there 5 years serving in INYAS. There, I did a lot of outreach activity even in COVID-19 pandemic. During the pandemic time, I participated in vaccine awareness programs and a lot of online, uh, webinars and other programs we conducted. We work for school children and raising awareness about the, available opportunities in India for people who are from not from cities or poor sectors of our society. So that's one thing. Then after I became alumnus, I also got selected as a member of the Global Young Academy. So it's more of international. It's an international body of young scientists. So right now I'm a member for next 5 years. So there also I will be continuing my outreach activities, and we try to work on projects of international importance like the sustainable development goals, the different goals. So some of the examples are, I have not started working as yet because I'm a new member. But the areas that GYA works are, for example, gender equality, an important area which I'm also interested in to contribute to climate. Then science diplomacy, which is a newer area, I would say. It's not new in general international level, but here it's new. It's a new concept where we talk about science and scientific techniques, not only nationally, but how diplomacy. So how to use science to communicate or to undergo diplomatic dialogues, international dialogues for the betterment of the entire global betterment. So irrespective of geopolitics, right? So so that's how I think. If I do these, whatever I'm doing, along with that, I will be able to have some social impact being created from my end. But I think we should first think about what are the problems there now. We already know about them, and we should try to figure out how to bring in changes, because you don't know what's going to happen after 10 years. We know what's happening with our climate today, right? So we have to take steps. For example, keeping the wilderness clean, not mingling, not disturbing the habitat of animals. If you do that, you are disturbing them, and then you get affected yourselves and also the environment. Now, then, if you are going to the wilderness, don't mess up the cleanliness of the wilderness. Keep the wild clean. Then plastic usage is one of the major issues going on. So you should minimize use of plastics. Try to focus on reusable things, and the natural resources. So things like that. Um, there are many things, but I think it will be difficult for me to list everything now. So 20 years vision is a long thing, but I think it's better to strategize things here, for shorter duration of time and try to achieve that goal and then think further. So yeah, so I already told I'm a nature loving person. So from my end, I try at least to keep it clean, whether mountains where I climb or wilderness where I go or city where I live in. I try not to interfere with natural habitats too that I mentioned. Try not to make streets dirty. Reduce plastic usage as much as I can. I prefer seasonal fruits and vegetables and not the hybrid, off-season varieties. That's one part that also falls under how to become sustainable. Then I don't eat meat at this point of time, although I am born and brought up as a hardcore non-vegetarian. I love, uh, I taste everything that falls into that category, but currently I am only taking fish for health reasons, but I'm trying to cut short on that too. And I try to minimize waste, basically. I live good and I live happily if I can see nature. I am not a very, uh, you know, I am brought up in a city. I am brought up in Delhi, but I am not a urban minded person. So to make myself happy, I train myself in a way that I can withstand the wilderness. So I run. So health is my primary thing to keep my mind happy and calm. So running is something really helps me. A lot of adrenaline. So everyday running. Right now, I'm not able to do because of my baby, but I'll resume to it. Otherwise, I am used to run at least 6, 7, 8 kilometers every day, every single day. Sometimes it goes to 10, 15 kilometers. So I do that, and that really keeps me very active. So basically, physical activity and sports is my choice to keep me good. Some of the things I started way back before I had a family, before I had a baby, and uh, professionally, what that you do as you have to do. But then, yeah, I became a scientist because I wanted to get settled in life, earn money, be independent. But when I started doing science, I started enjoying it. Right now I love that, but apart from that, I also wanted to do something which gives me real happiness, and I find that in forests, in mountains. And to go there and to do those things, you have to be really fit. You should be able to withstand those. For that reason, I started running. I started doing going for Zumba classes and aerobic classes when I was there for my PhD degree in IIC Bangalore. I used to go for those classes as well. So those started to help me keeping myself fit enough to go for the harder ones. But then I started loving um, running itself, so that became my passion. And running, it's not only keeps you fit, but if you ask runners, it gives you a lot of mental strength. So if you have a target, initially you set your target as 2 kilometers and you are not a runner, say, but once you see you can run 2 kilometers, then you set up your target as 5 kilometers and you can do it. So and with your age, when you increase that mileage, that gives you a lot of mental strength that yes, I can do it. Health wise, I can do it. Yes, I can think that I can do something. So that's what happened with me. I used to run marathons and half marathons first, but then I started running ultras, the longer distances. So I initially, I remember I ran 60 kilometers, Kolkata ultra. I could finish it in time. And I remember somebody whispering on the street, "You only have 5 minutes to finish." And I ran like anything to finish that. And when I was able to dot on time, it gave me immense happiness. And that day I decided, okay, so marathons are only fillers. I have to run more. So I'm talking more in terms of running, but this is what it gives to you. Anything you do outdoor, you are crossing your limit. And that energy and that mental stamina not only helps you in your sports, but you can translate it and take it forward to your profession as well, because when you go back to office you go back with lot of energy and lot of self confidence. Yeah, so I think a couple of things. So I was just talking about lessons learned, and but now you are asking me about the message. So I'll first talk about the advice, my bit of advice to my younger generation or younger girls. So I would advise to realize what makes you happy, and set goals. You should set goals for your life. That's very important. So randomness is not good. Goals should involve those that would benefit you and ensure your well-being, and those as well that you would like to achieve as contributions to the society. So something that would help you, as well as you should do something that would be addition or contributions from your end to the society, because it's the society who builds you. So you have some responsibility towards the society as well. Always trust your abilities and persevere. Perseverance is extremely important. So persevere to hit your targets. Work hard and also work smart. Never cry without putting 100% of your efforts for achieving your goals. When you are on right track, making progress, there will be hurdles, and you must fight back to maintain yourself on track. That's my advice. So, well, I I love climbing. I love climbing. I want to resume back to climbing higher peaks. Yeah, yeah. And since I do a lot of expeditions, I have been doing expeditions and I have been doing treks. What I want, I used to write, but I would love to have opportunities to pen down my experiences and share it, not as blogs. I'm not a blog person, so you need some kind of energy and some kind of speciality to start blogging. That's not my thing, but I need opportunity, like in magazines or some kind of platform where I can have invitations to write. So then I can write about certain experiences, like one expedition or one run or race that I ran, what I experienced. So I want to pen down my experiences to stories. So that's what, and relate my experiences to life, how it influences.